Welcome to the Zwift Academy Roadshow. I'm Rebecca Charlton. We're entering week 7. Yes, that's right. After this, there is only 1 week left of the Academy. All of you wonderful people who have signed up to ZA this year are so close to graduating, you can taste it. And very soon, we'll discover who out of you will have the chance at winning one of those life-changing pro contracts. As you know, the sign-up process is closed, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the Zwift Academy. Stick around and you'll see why. Let's take a look at what's coming up on this week's show. Canyon SRAM tell us what they want to see in a new teammate. Dan and Stephen give us a look at workout 7. Leah's back to answer all your questions. And Matt Stevens is here to chat about the pro teams. This week I got involved in my very first segment ride, and I am not going to lie, I got completely caught napping. I had to chase back on, got dropped again on the climb, and found some very lovely community members to roll in with luckily. But I also completed workout 6 this week, more sprints, which I might have already mentioned is right up my street. Genuinely my favourite workout of the Academy so far. I do love a lead out train. Also, as some of you who have completed the Academy already know, you get some great unlocks along the way. And excitingly, the final prize, well, it is a brand spanking new Canyon Aero 2021 to use in all of those Zwift races you've planned in the future. We've had some very special guests on the show this year, from former ZA winners all the way to Academy members in their 70s, and I've loved hearing from everyone. But this week I've got something a little bit different planned for you. I've put some very pressing questions to the Canyon SRAM Pro team, and I've packaged them up in this convenient little video. Take a look.
Are able to learn from their mistakes, they have thick skin, and they're just generally a nice person to be around.
They speak loud and clearly in the radio because otherwise I don't understand the English.
Loyalty, because I think it's really important for a team that you are willing to put your own goals and aspirations behind your team leaders.
The most important thing in a new teammate is having a good personality.
For me, trust, because without trust, you can't race as a team.
It was just a lot of things that changed my whole life, even the country that I lived in, because I moved to Spain.
I was super excited because then I could finally see the inside of the camper, because it was always a mystery when I was still a junior.
It was pretty scary because the people that I was surrounded with, I'd only ever seen in the Olympics and on TV and in the big races, and then suddenly I was sitting beside them eating breakfast.
I was amazed at how welcoming everybody was. I went from being a Zwift Academy finalist to a part of the team.
I was really afraid and scared of almost everybody because they seemed like superstars to me. But then I got to know them better and made some really nice friends.
Spanish tour, we stayed in like a truck stop. So there were all these truck drivers and then massive lorries and like a bar where you'd have breakfast, and we'd sit at this breakfast bar with these truck drivers eating like these combos that you'd get off the menu, like these cheap Spanish breakfasts.
The first team camp when Alessandra, I don't know what she wanted to cook, but she wanted to do something with eggs, and she opened the egg and it was already cooked.
Also in Australia, I locked myself out of my room at 3 AM and then I was sleeping in the bathroom because there was only a bathroom on the hallway and I couldn't get back into my room, and then my physio eventually found me, and yeah, that was a rough night before the first race.
Some really great insight from the Canyon SRAM team there. I suggest you all jot down what they had to say and carry it with you through the rest of the Academy and beyond. We're nearing the end of the programme and there are only 2 more workouts for you to learn about. Dan and Stephen are still in the lab. Here they are to take you through workout 7.
It's week 7 and we're back in the lab. This week we're developing your oxygen again, and it's all about your VO2 max capabilities.
During these hard efforts, it's important to keep your breathing in as good a rhythm as possible. Try and take deep breaths when you get the opportunity.
Developing your VO2 max is crucial for a lot of areas of performance. Developing this is going to help you make them sustained efforts anywhere from 2 to 8 minutes, working on your highest aerobic capacity. This is essential if you're racing, if you're going up a climb, or you're just trying to beat your mates.
This is a good one if you want to get better at Zwift racing, because riding at a high percentage of VO2 max is vital for any competitive event, but none more so than esports.
With Zwift racing lasting anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour, you can spend a lot of that time close to your VO2 max. In the 7th workout in the ZA Road programme, we're in Douce, France, and we're going to be spending a lot of time with a high heart rate and close to your VO2 max.
It's week 7 and fatigue is starting to build, so it's a good idea to get in an active recovery ride. So why not jump on Caspats for a group ride?
Stay focused, make sure you finish in a high. For those going for the contract, you've got one more week to dig deep.
Their time in the lab will soon be coming to an end, but for now they're still in there cooking up some more devious ideas on how they can punish us. They've got some big plans for their last week. Dan has dyed his hair pink and Stephen is still trying to build that TikTok following. I think he's currently on 6 followers. It's about time that we answer some of your community questions, and who better to join me than our coffee queen, Leah Thorvaldson. Hey Leah.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I've got a special mug for you today. It is a Banarwal.
The obvious choice, Leah.
It is the obvious choice. The Banarwal, the obvious choice.
Well, thank you as ever for keeping us entertained here on the show. What are people saying in the community this week?
Well, I am seeing a lot of FTP increases and posts about in real life improvements that people are seeing since the beginning of the Academy, which I just think is super exciting and a real testament to the fact that this program, although I know in the beginning some people thought it felt just like a lot of tests, it really does give a great fitness boost. Definitely I've seen some people thinking, oh no, I've increased my FTP and now I have to tackle the rest of these sessions at a harder FTP, and it's a little bit intimidating, but overall I think people are really excited about that. The other question I've seen a lot is, what is next? What do we do? The Academy has just got a couple of weeks left. It's wrapping to a close. What do we do with our newfound FTP? If you are into running at all, or maybe even if you're not, sign up for the Tri Academy or the Run Academy. You can sign up for the Tri Academy and just only do the bike portion. Just another great way to be wrapped up in another Zwift community. If you don't want to do one of the other academies, there's also great workout plans built into the game for you. And you can choose an FTP builder, or if you're looking to improve that sprint, the Crit Crusher might be a good one. So Zwift has always got something for you. What about you? What's coming up next for you after you finish the Zwift Academy?
I think I've just loved being in this community so much that I'm just looking forward to being in touch with everybody after it and actually talking again about the real life benefits of doing the Academy. I've been out with some people out on the road and they've all said, wow, like you're holding the wheel better on the climbs, and I've definitely kind of seen that subtle change, and then suddenly it's not so subtle and you think, God, I've really improved. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I've just got to keep going, keep it up, I think is what everyone's sentiment is for the community really.
Absolutely.
Now Leah, it is time for the part of the show which is always a breath of fresh air. It's Fan of the Week. Who have you got for us?
This week we have Mike McNally, and his Zwift station is really impressive. I've decided that Mike is that guy that everyone wants to know as a cyclist, because whatever you need, Mike has it. And he probably knows how to fix your bike.
He has definitely got everything in there that he could possibly need, hasn't he? But we really want to keep seeing these pictures, they're incredible.
We sure do, and just if you put that hashtag Zwift Academy, it makes them much easier for us to find.
Leah, as ever, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'll see you at the same time next week, and it'll be our last coffee stop.
That's so sad. Yeah, it will be our last stop and last chance for people to send in those photos with the hashtag Zwift Academy. Give us a chance to launch you into roadshow fame in our last episode.
Leah, thank you. See you next week.
All right, bye-bye.
The finals are fast approaching, with both pro teams Canyon SRAM and Alpecin Fenix very interested in who will become a part of their little family. And next up is someone who knows all there is to know about the teams. It's the wonderful Mr. Matt Stevens. Hello Matt, welcome back.
Thanks Rebecca, thank you for having me.
For anyone that hasn't followed the Canyon SRAM pro team so far, could you tell us a little bit about the makeup of that team and the dynamics of what type of riders we've got in there already?
I think when you look at the team themselves, 16 riders, 3 of which, of course, are former Zwift Academy winners. So we've got Ella Harris, Jess Pratt, the latest. We've got Tanya Erath, who won a few years ago. And she's on the fringes of the Olympic German Team Pursuit squad. They've all embedded themselves really well, but they have a really good balance. They've got Alice, the Barnes sisters, who sprint exceptionally well and are good all-rounders. They've got Cassia Nui-Adoma, for example, one of the finest climbers and stage race riders in the world, second in the recent Giro d'Italia Feminin. Canyon SRAM are one of the most finely balanced teams out there, without a shadow of a doubt.
And in terms of the men's team being new to the academy, Alpecin Fenix, of course, could you tell us a bit about their team makeup at the moment?
Well, they're headed, of course, by one of our Zwift ambassadors, Mathieu van der Poel, who is one of the best all-rounders. But when you look towards what they're doing next year, they're going to be riding at least the Tour de France. And their focus over the last couple of years, first and foremost, was cyclocross. They've now become one of the best teams in the world in terms of performing well in one-day races. So I think if I was their DS, I'd be looking for a rider again like Canyon SRAM with potential, but also a rider who can maybe climb well and with a view to maybe excelling in stage races in the future.
It's really exciting, isn't it? Just following all of this and the anticipation of those finals coming up. What would you really like to see thrown at the riders in these last couple of weeks?
I think we've got essentially a blank canvas, and that makes things very, very exciting indeed. But what I'd like to see, without being too cruel, is for the riders to maybe do a double Zwift day, a ride in the morning, then another ride in the afternoon at a certain kind of intensity, all of the riders together, riding with other riders from the Alpecin Fenix team or the Canyon SRAM team, and then be put under pressure to answer questions maybe on tactics. So like a semi kind of interview while they're under physical stress.
But this community, the Zwift Academy community, is fantastic, and I've so enjoyed being a part of it this year especially. But we want to hear from the community as well, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, the question that you just asked me, Rebecca, I mean, what would you, the Zwift community, like to see the riders be put through? Again, nothing too awful, please. It's not about torturing them or anything like that. But what would you like to see? I mean, 120,000 of you have joined in on the Zwift Academy this year. We know there's even more who actually just ride regularly on Zwift, and we would genuinely like to know in the comments section on YouTube or on our social media channels what you'd like to see our finalists do in the final, basically, and kind of anything goes within reason. So we'd love to hear what you've got to say.
Matt, a pleasure as always. Thanks so much for joining me on the show yet again, and I'll see you at the same time next week, and that'll be our last chat before the finals.
I cannot wait. Thanks for having me. See you next week.
See you then, Matt. Bye-bye. That is all we have time for this week. Thanks to Canyon SRAM, Leah, Dan and Stephen and Matt for joining us. Next week, it's the last episode. I know, it's all gone by so quickly. Keep an eye out for it though, as it's going to be a big sending off. And remember, Zwift Academy is for absolutely everyone, so make sure you all go and nail Workout 7 and get involved in that community. Goodbye for now, see you next time, and ride on.